Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's Christmas Eve. Do you know what? It's nice festive feeling here. This video is going to leave me a bit down and out afterwards though, because we're going to be looking back on a video that at the start of the season I was pretty confident in, and ever since the start of the season has done the rounds. It was reacting to my Premiership League predictions video halfway through. The majority of teams have now played 19 games. We're going to look at the league table that I predicted. We're going to talk about how the teams that I said would finish where have performed to this point, where I think they'll go from this point, and just overall how I have done so far at this point. I'm sure this is going to be a good laugh for the Rangers fans in the comments below. But you know what, let's just get it over and done with. Let's get into it and talk about the season thus far. Before we move on with the video, make sure to check out the top line of the description and download the OneFootball app. The OneFootball app, of course, can let you see everything that's happened so far this season, from scores to players' performances to the league table itself, news as it happens, as we get into this January transfer window. Everything you need to know is in that one place. It's a very useful app, and by using the top link in the description, you're helping out both me and the sponsor. So please make sure to check that out and have a good time with it. Right, I don't want to be here all day talking about this because it could be a very long video. If I was to talk in depth about every single team, we'd be here for at least half an hour. I think the prediction video itself was half an hour, so we're going to fly through every team and try and go as max 1 minute. And I know everybody's looking forward to the end to hear what I'm going to say about Rangers Celtic. The title race there right now is it's not much of a race. It's Pistorius against Bolt, but we can try our best anyway. We can go on with it, and we've got to try 1 minute a team. We'll talk about how I think the season has gone. So in 12th place right now is Ross County, and I predicted them to finish 12th place. I had a feeling at the start of the season that they would finish rock bottom, despite having a few good players in their team. They have obviously just came off the back of sacking the manager who started the season in Kettlewell. They've brought in John Hughes, which is a very good appointment. And yes, as much as they may be rock bottom right now, I think they'll end up staying up. John Hughes is a good manager, and he's shown that before in the Premiership, and I think he's the exact appointment that was needed. Kettlewell, very unlucky, because at the start of the season they weren't looking bad, and of course they put Celtic out the League Cup, just to remind us all, and there was points that looked really promising, but it just went right downhill so quickly. So Kettlewell's gone, John Hughes is in. I do think they will move up in the league table. I don't think it'll be a prolific turn of form. I think they'll still finish around the 9th, 10th place region this season, but right now I'm on track with that prediction. Will it stay the same though? I don't think so. And 11th place right now is Hamilton Academical, and once again I predicted Hamilton Academical. This is the team that just won't go away, and we've grown used to seeing that, and they've started showing this season that it looks as though it could be a familiar tale. At the start of the season I had no hope for them. After a few games into the season I should say, I thought they were going to finish rock bottom. They looked like that, but Brian Rice has now started kind of churning out some results. They're showing some promising signs. Yes, they're ultimately going to be down there all the time. 11th, 12th, 10th place, that region is where Hamilton will always be, but this year they have shown that they can compete. A poor loss for them yesterday, right enough, against Livingston, but it was to be expected, you could say, with the form Livingston are in. Hamilton, I don't expect much from this point out, but as I said, they're just a team that won't go away, and it's just got to keep going like that, innit? Currently at 10th place in the league is St Johnstone, where I predicted them to finish. Right now I'm 3 for 3, I'm flying at the bottom, not so much at the top. But St Johnstone I predicted 10th. Look, I was very pessimistic in the terms of where I thought St Johnston's season would go. I was very sceptical. The fact that they got rid of Tommy Wright after such a long era of him in charge, to bring in Callum Davidson, I wasn't so hopeful. And if you've watched the Talk Scottish Football podcast, you'll know that there's been a very big difference between me and David and our expectations and our appraisal of them. He's been very hopeful for Callum Davidson and St Johnstone, and it's paid off at times this season. There was a really good run of form for St Johnstone. I think they went 10 or 11 games without losing in all competitions. It was magical, but they're still down there in 10th place. But that's the thing about the bottom six, it is so tight, and 2 wins in the bounce, for example, for St Johnstone could send them up to close to 6th place. So it's so tight between that bottom six, it's hard to tell where they'll end up, but right now I've got it spot on. They do look good though this season. I think Callum Davidson had a sluggish start, and he's pulled it back now a wee bit, and he's got things going the way he wanted it, the way he envisioned it from the start, so fair play. I still see them finishing around the 8th, 9th kind of position though. Currently in 9th place is Kilmarnock, and Kilmarnock are actually predicted to finish 8th, so once again I'm not too far off. Look, it's been a very inconsistent season for Kilmarnock. They've had good results here and there. I really like Alex Dyer, I've said that so many times. I like what he's trying to do at Kilmarnock. I like the story of him getting there as well. Of course, former assistant manager of the Scottish national team and former assistant of Stevie Clark, he knows the club well. They're tough to beat, we all know that, and when they set up in a defensive manner, they're one of the hardest teams to play in the league. Starting the season off quite poorly, apart from the draw at Celtic. Once again, a team who did kind of find their form at a point, but they've dipped off once again. Kilmarnock will stay around that region, I imagine. And for Alex Dyer, with the players that he's lost, I think that is a positive. To just make sure they're staying in a kind of 7th, 8th position. If they can stay there this season, I think they'll be fine. But you know what? It's one of those seasons. They'll be looking at the teams around them to drop points. I've not been too far off of them though. Currently in 8th place is St Mirren, who are predicted to finish 9th. Of course, a team who went through a very poor run of form, and they looked like the team who could finish rock bottom of the table. I really like Jim Goodwin, and of course knocks Rangers out the cup as well. So I'm joking, right? We got knocked out the round before. I have a cheek to talk, but no, St Mirren have had a very kind of tough run with it in the league, but they're starting to get it together now, and Jim Goodwin is displaying how good a manager he can be at times. I've always kind of liked Goodwin, and they've got good players at their disposal. When they play well, and Tony Fitzpatrick, of course, at the start of the season came out and said he has a dream for St Mirren to finish in the top 6. Well, it seems a bit, I think that's a bit too much for them now this season. They'll probably get pulled down a bit because they will go through poor form again, but the choice to stand by Jim Goodwin as manager, I believe, is the right one. I think St Mirren need to stick with him. He will keep them in the Premiership. Easy days. And I'm sorry if I've jinxed you. Currently in 7th place is Livingston, and I predicted them to finish 7th. Look, I'm just magic. Bottom 6 I've got basically spot on. 8th and 9th, flip them about. Oh, we're flying. I've done really well so far at this point, and people say I don't know what I'm talking about. Look, 5 wins in the bounce now for Martindale. Who would have thought at the start of the season that Gary Holt would be gone by this time? They would have been in a rut with Gary Holt, and David Martindale would have came in to become manager and now won 5 in the bounce. No one would have thought that. Look, what a decision to give this guy a second chance, you could say. We all know about his past. It has now been put in the limelight now as manager. It wasn't really spoken about before, but he's done so well addressing it, and he's not hid away from it, and he's came out and people are forgiving, and people are giving him a second chance, and it's great. Fair play to him, and I hope they keep doing well. I didn't quite think he would get the Livingston job, but you can't look past it now with the form they're in. Yes, they'll probably struggle at points, but look, this is a Livingston side who lost so many key players over the past year or two. And yet they're still marching on in the league and doing well. They're on the verge of being in the top half. Like, fair play to Livingston, fair play to Martindale, but I've got that one spot on too. Currently 6th in the table is Motherwell. I predicted them to finish 4th. Motherwell have had a very poor season. I know being in the top 6 is good. You do what? In terms of actually Motherwell as a club, that's good. I think 6th place, if you finish 6th, great. As a Motherwell fan, be great. But of course, the last couple of years, we've grown used to seeing Motherwell being a club who have challenged very highly. This year, they've been anything but challenging. It's been a very poor season, in fact, for Motherwell. Losing David Turnbull appears to have hurt them despite not playing them last year. And only now they're starting to climb up that table. They're just not looking great. A lot of people losing a lot of patience with them. Stephen Robinson, I do believe, is the right man at the helm of the club. But he's been doing it for so long now, and he's been doing it at such a good standard that if they finish that top half, it's great. For Motherwell as a club, you can't ask for much more. But I think the fact that we're getting to cup finals and getting up as high as 3rd in the league is a bit of a letdown now of the way they've been playing. I think it's more the performances that's been a problem at Motherwell rather than where they are in the league. But look, there's still a long way to go, and all it takes is a good run of form and Motherwell could be back and challenging. Currently in 5th place, as I predicted to be in 6th place actually, is Dundee United, who have been a bit of an anomaly this season. And look, they're doing amazing for being a newly promoted side. 5th place in the league. I'm sure if you offered a Dundee United fan at 5th place at the halfway point come Christmas time, after newly promoted glory, you would have bit the hand off as a Dundee United fan. This is a 5th place Dundee United team who haven't got anything out of Shankland yet. Last night was the first bit of decent football, and I've seen it of Shankland, and I wouldn't even say decent football, and just what you expect him to do as a finisher. And they've waited so long for that. He's only had a couple of decent performances this season. Like Nicky Clark has been great, McNulty's been good, midfield and defence have been solid enough. It's a team that, you know, quite rightfully deserve to be a top half side, one of the biggest clubs in Scotland, and now they're back. Of course, once again, they're not quite clean sailing yet. You look at the league table and it's so tight outside the top four, they could go anywhere. But I really like Mickey Mellon. I've said it from the start, said it in the predictions video. I have high hopes for him. And look, it's not too bad for Dundee United. They've not been a team that's electric, but they grind out results when they need them to keep them in this kind of position. Currently in fourth is Aberdeen, and I predicted them to finish fifth actually, which is not going to happen now. Look, the top four is locked on. Aberdeen are in a position where they have a game in hand to jump over Hibs as well, so they could move into third. But currently sitting at fourth place, Aberdeen have got some squad this season. It's the best squad I've seen at an Aberdeen side in the whole Derek McInnes tenure. He's been there, what, 9 years or something now? No, not quite 9, I think it's 7 or something. He's been there for such a long time, but this is the best squad he's had, and they're a really dangerous side. Not quite against Celtic, but they're a dangerous side. I say that in the draw for each way. But Ferguson, McCrory, they've got all the right players, they're playing well. Look, after a start to the season which was catastrophic with the whole players at the pub stuff and that, and I think they actually lost in the opening day as well to Rangers. I think they dropped points as well soon after. It didn't look like a great start, they're pulling it back now, and it's going to be a really good race between them and Hibs for third place. Who knows, Celtic might get thrown into that race as well, but very good from Aberdeen, and they'll keep going. The top four's locked on. Currently at third place, the team I predicted third, Hibs. Look, Jack Ross, good manager, good side. Kevin Nisbet is hitting all the high notes. That's basically the review for Hibs. What else was I expecting but Kevin Nisbet to bang in the goals this season, and he is. Quite rightfully a man who should be in that Scotland squad going to the Euros. He's so good. And the rest of the Hibs team has been so solid as well. They're playing some really tasty stuff at times. But the same problem keeps coming up with Hibs every year. Just wee bits of inconsistency here and there. They are improving on it. It's not as bad as what it once was, but they're leaving this race very exciting for third place between them and Aberdeen. Which brings me on to the final two teams, of course, and it's the party we've all been waiting for. It's Celtic and Rangers, and of course I predicted Celtic to win the league this year, and I expected Rangers to finish second, and the clips have been taken from that video time and time again of me saying, oh, not one Rangers player would get in the Celtic team, and the Rangers squad is not as good as Celtic's, and blah blah blah. I also did say numerous times in that video this title race could go the whole way. It's not going to be easy. Rangers could stop 10 in a row, and there was so many things I said that people leave out, but right now 16 points clear Rangers are at the top of the table. Would I have imagined that when I made that video? No, and as much as I may have said that it could have been a tight one this year, I did not expect this. We have been shambolic this season, Celtic. We all know it. Rangers are rampant. Rangers have been so good this season. From everything, the squad rotation to how they play in the park, tactical, everything. Just everything about Rangers has been great. Celtic have been shocking. And as much fun as we've had watching the team win a quadruple treble and everything else, we have been an utter shell of ourselves this year. And right now the gap is that big that so many people are doubting we can pull it back. Look, it's a conversation we're going to have time and time and time again on this channel, but Celtic need change. And the only way I think we can catch Rangers is if we make that change. We are dying for a result on the second. And if Rangers win that game, I think the Fat Lady is close to finishing her song. As people say, it's not over till the Fat Lady sings. We will have a mountain that is taller than any peak on this earth to climb if we don't win the game at Ibrox in the second. But Rangers this season have been great. Celtic have been poor. That is all I can say. And that's my season halfway. That's that. So that about does it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know how you're getting on with your predictions at the start of the season as to now. Apart from the Celtic and Rangers stuff, I'm flying, man. I've been doing pretty good, and it just shows you, the Specky Tube has a wee bit of knowledge up here. But ladies and gents, thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.